Faith on Film, a program designed to keep you connected to people that are working in the faith film industry. And here's one of those for you today. Gigi Orsillo may be a new name on the faith-based film scene, but let me tell you, she's no stranger to the screen. Gigi has been appearing on camera in commercials, TV projects, and films since she was 2 years old and has a rich background in production, and you will see her soon in her upcoming film, Sleeper Agent, which is releasing soon. But how does a homeschool mom of three balance having a career in the film industry and having a family at home? Well, we'll find out from her right now. Gigi!
Hi!
How are you?
Thank you for having me, Isaac.
Oh, it is an honor for me. Now, I tell you, and I'm going to read this part because I don't want to mess it up, but it says here that you grew up with a director, producer dad, makeup artist mom, gaffer brother, production assistant sister-in-law, and then you're married into a production family with a brother-in-law who's a sound engineer.
I know.
You could film.
We could just fill a whole
You
film
could.
set.
You don't even need to hire a crew. You've got it all there with you. You had no choice but to be in this industry, did you?
I know. I like to say that I grew up on set, basically.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it since a very young age. I don't know if you can really call 2 years old what I did at 2 acting, but on camera, just being comfortable on camera and being on set and being around production, it just feels very much at home to me. So I had the opportunity to be on lots of great projects through the years, all growing up, and pursued theater in college as well at Oral Roberts University. Studied theater and film and TV production, as well as communications, and loved ORU, met my husband there, and
So from the time that you started at the age of 2, were you already raised in a Christian home? I mean, was this a Christian home that you were a part of, or is this something that came later?
Yes, I was raised in a Christian home.
Oh, nice.
And not all the productions that I was involved in were faith-based or anything like that, commercials, TV projects. But fortunately, I was in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, in the Bible Belt, where a lot of Christian production was being done. I don't know if you remember Gospel Bill, the Gospel Bill show, but
I do.
I went to Willie George's church and was part of several of his productions. Was part of a game show that he did for kids there called Kids on the Move, one of the hosts of that show, and got to do lots of cool Christian music videos, travel the world, and it was just, I feel really blessed to have had that background. And then, I got married, and my husband and I found ourselves moving to California, and it was never really part of my plan to go to LA and, try and be a movie star or anything, but God just kind of aligned that path for me. And so we ended up in LA, and I was able to, pursue production in Los Angeles, which was really fun, but definitely a season, And so when we were ready to start a family, we said, I think we're going to get out of LA. And I still had an agent. I was still kind of pursuing production. But at that point, I just kind of felt really just called to be a mom. And I don't say just a mom, I just say called to be a mom, which is the greatest calling, and I love being a mom. But I just felt God kind of telling me to lay it at his feet. And I remember writing in my journal and saying, God, if this is something that you bring back to me, I mean, it's such a part of my life. It's such a part of who I am, just because of my family background, then I will be really thankful. But if it's not, I know that you have other things for me, and that being a mom is such a wonderful calling. But then I would say maybe 10 years later, I got a phone call from a friend, and he said, I'm directing a movie, faith-based production. Is there any chance you want to come to California and audition? And I said, I'm not really acting anymore, And so I had to really talk it out with my husband, and we prayed about it, and I really felt just a piece of, okay, I think this is the next season. This is a season to move back into production. And it's great now that there's so much going on in the faith-based world. And,
Yeah.
you can audition from Colorado, which is great. And I don't have to be in LA. And I just have felt really blessed to be back in it. So
Technology has really made a big impact, hasn't it? I mean, look, we're doing this
it has.
program. I'm in California, you're in Colorado. It's
Yeah,
amazing,
it's really cool.
Now,
Yeah.
you talk about this first initial, when you were on the Gospel Bill show and all that stuff, and you look like you're about 25. So how in the world is that even
Oh,
possible?
Isaac, stop.
My goodness.
Well, I wasn't
yeah,
on the Gospel Bill show, but I was on some of the productions
but
that he then
yeah,
did. Yeah.
that was a long time ago. I remember that show
Yeah.
because I was at TBN at the time, and I remember we played that show on the network. But like I said, my
Yeah.
goodness,
Well,
that
I hosted a show for JCTV as well.
you did.
So our paths have crossed before, Isaac.
They have. They really have. And that's kind of neat, though. How sometimes you talk about a pause, if you will. You in essence left the film career and decided to raise kids, and then came back to it all of a sudden. Sometimes God just does that. I mean, I've been in TV since I was a kid, also, which is, trust me, a long, long time ago. And then there was a time when I left it and became a pastor, an associate pastor, a worship pastor at a church. And I'm like, what does this have to do with what I love to do? And I realized that it
Right.
was for a very special purpose, and that was that what I needed for where I'm at now was something I didn't have, and that was the heart of a pastor. For me before
Yeah.
it was a career. It was a career that I loved, but it was still just a career. After those 10 years as a pastor, now it's a calling. So it was something that
Yes.
was needed. And for you, I don't know exactly what the purpose of it was, but it was a time that God had for you to just take a pause from that and then come back really strong. And we're going to take a break right now.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about one of those projects that I think was part of what God had in mind for you from way back then. All right?
Yes, thank
Folks,
you.
don't go away. We'll be right back.
Got a postcard from the grandkids. They went to the Ark.
Yeah. What does it say?
Well, Annie says they had a blast and that it's really, really big.
Everything looks big to a 6-year-old.
Well, Hudson says it's even bigger than the castle.
Can't be that big. Can it? Go ahead. Think bigger.
Encourage TV. Family-friendly and faith-friendly content absolutely free. Subscribe today and watch hundreds of hours of content on our streaming channels. Visit encouragetv.com today.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. We're here with Gigi Orsillo. And before we continue talking to her, I want you to take a look at this clip.
Hey, Kate. Whoa.
Walter,
Hey.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that was you.
Oh, no, you surprised me there.
You okay?
Yeah, no, that move surprised me. I'm hard to take down, too. So.
Right. It was something I picked up in self-defense class, I guess. You're sure you're okay? I didn't see you at the mission trip meeting last night.
Yeah, no, I had a pretty important meeting.
Oh.
Well, I mean, not that, missionary work's important. It's very important, absolutely.
Right.
But this was an equally important.
Walter, I'm not judging you for going to a work meeting. It's fine.
Yeah, no, right. Work meeting that's what I was saying.
Cool.
I should probably get to work. I was
Yeah.
yeah.
I just got done from a run, so I better.
Oh, how was it? Did you have a good run?
Yeah, it's good.
Get all the heart rate pumping and
Yep.
get all sweaty and I mean
Am I-
it's probably not.
am I-
No. It's probably a glow. Women glow.
Right.
No, it's sweat. Is that just pregnant women? Not that you look pregnant. You look fantastic. I mean, I'm not saying I'm looking.
Thanks.
I'm just a clean sweat. This is a clean sweat. I like your shoes.
Thanks. Probably gotta go.
Right. Yeah. No, that's where I was heading.
But you're coming to the next meeting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Save me a seat.
I will.
Okay. See ya.
Have a nice day.
Nice shoes. So, what is a clean sweat anyway?
Gigi, well, I have a first question for you. Do you really
What?
know that whole jujitsu, karate, whatever that was that you did, or was it just acting?
It's just acting. I did train for a little bit with a stunt coordinator who helped me a little bit. And then we had Jace Mix was on set, and he was our stunt coordinator, and he did great just kind of showing us the moves and stuff.
So I guess your husband better be careful of how he treats you now, right?
You better.
So tell us about that movie then. I mean, I know there was another movie that kind of brought you back into the acting career, if you will. But then throughout, and that was what, a Christmas movie?
Yeah, so I did a Christmas movie called The Talking Tree. It should be out hopefully this Christmas. And then I did an episode of TBN's In the Gap, which they have some new really great content there. And so did a series episodic there. And then I met Nathan, and it was just God's timing how we met and connected. And basically like 2 weeks after we had connected online, he was casting. And here I was in Colorado, and he's in Colorado, and it was just perfect.
God knows just how to fit all those pieces in the puzzle. I've known Nathan for several years now, and I remember him from his first movie. And first of all, and I did interview him a few programs ago, by the way, but first of all, I've seen the progression of his skill and his talent from that first movie to this one, because this one, it's just really amazing. I got to see the screener a few months ago, and I just couldn't stop laughing. So he did a great job. Leland, of course, just an amazing job, and you were wonderful in it.
Thank you.
How did you end up getting the part? I mean, you met him, and he just thought, "Hey, you're fantastic."
I have. So a friend of mine and yours, Jen Gotson, she had told me, if you're wanting to get back in this, you need to just start reaching out to people. When you see a Christian production going on, reach out, see if they're casting. She's a go-getter. She was kind of giving me coaching lessons. And so I started kind of trying to get a pulse on who was doing Christian production, and Kingdom Sight kind of popped up on my radar. And I reached out to Nathan, and I said, hey, I'm in Colorado, and I'm an actress, I'm a Christian, I'm wanting to do faith-based films. And he was like, okay, actress in Colorado, all right, well, send me your stuff. And so I sent him my reel and my resume, and he was like, oh, you're like a real actress, like in Colorado, this is great. So literally 2 weeks later, they were casting, and I had already, seen the casting thing pop up, and it was already planning on submitting. And then he reached out and said, hey, are you gonna send an email with your casting stuff? And I said, yeah, I'm already on it. So so I got to read for him, and it took a while. It took a while for them to decide, but I give him some grief about that. But yeah. So I was super thankful. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's a great movie. I think it's going to do fantastic. I think it's interesting how it came about, by the way. I know you know the story, but I was at the event
the ICVM event.
At ICVM.
Where
Yeah.
Leland was there and Brad Mix was there and Nathan was there, and they basically had a little meeting, and Brad said, "Hey, you got to talk to Nathan because he's looking for projects." And next thing you know, there's a film. So by the next year of ICVM, they had a screener to show already. I mean, that's really good.
Yeah, it was really cool. I know it makes me want to go to more festivals or more conferences. It's like all of these connections that you make at these places are really cool. You can really a whole project can come together.
Yeah,
so
that's one area that I'm very thrilled with my current job at Parables. Is the way it affords for me to be able to attend a lot of these festivals, conferences, all this, and it's really put me in a real hub position to all the various filmmakers, whether it be directors, producers, actors, whatever, and that's why that heart of a pastor that I was talking about, that's where it comes into play, because now my passion is to connect all these people and to encourage them and sometimes to protect them, because that can be filmmaking can be a cruel world even in the Christian side of things. It's just great to be able to be at these conferences. And by the way, big pitch here then for ICVM. You want to get your project made? Go to ICVM. Okay, that won't guarantee it, but hey, it's a pretty good shot that it might. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, is there something else in the future right now that you're looking at? Because you're done filming this one.
We are done filming. We're hoping that we will. They're deciding on distribution right now, and the film was nominated for some great awards at ICFF. So we're looking forward to that. Best screenplay, Leland and Nathan. They did an awesome job on the screenplay. Mike Flack, the score. It's something that pops out at you when you see the movie. It's like, wow, the music is so good. So he did a great job. And then Leland for Best Actor, and I was nominated for Best Actress, and then Best Theatrical, which is really exciting, and I'm super proud of the team. So yeah, that, and then, future projects, I'm attached to some really beautiful moving screenplays that need funding, all in various stages of funding. So kind of just waiting to see what God does there, and have a table read. I mean, we're in quarantine right now. I don't know when you're going to release this, but so I had a director call me. He's like, "Why don't we do a table read? I mean, everybody's just sitting at home." So tried to get that together, and just waiting to see what the Lord puts in front of me. With having 3 girls at home, my life is really busy and really full, and so in order for me to take time away from my family, I want to make sure that it's something that's really quality and really important and something I really believe in. So nice. I know that God is preparing all those roles for me.
Hey, man, well, listen, let me take another break here, and I want to come back and just spend a few more minutes with you, and let's see what we talk about in those few minutes that we've got left, all right? Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Just one life, a perfect day. And your heart starts beating hard. I'm gonna keep on dreaming. I wanna feel that love. I wanna get that feeling. I wanna get that feeling.
You know they say it's really big.
What's really big?
An Ozark, silly.
Oh, I know. It's bigger than the size of our house.
It's a little bigger than that.
Like the size of 2 houses. No, 2 houses and a spaceship. I bet it's even bigger than the castle.
Don't be ridiculous. That's impossible.
This summer, think bigger.
Meet Will. Will wants to make a movie based in Bible times. No, maybe a Western. Well, maybe an apocalyptic movie. A biblical era apocalyptic western? That would be so original. But Will needs some sweet sets to bring it to life, and Will is 25,352 miles away from any of those sweet, sweet sets. Or so he thinks. Fortunately for Will, there is a solution. Introducing Capernaum Studios, your ticket to realistic locations and everything else you need to bring your period-accurate story to life. Book a tour today, like Will, who is, yet to leave.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. We're here with Gigi Orsillo, and we've got a few minutes left, Gigi, and I want to ask you something here because I've spent a little time with Leland, and I could tell you that it's difficult to just stay serious. Did you have a hard time working with Leland?
Did I have a hard time? I wouldn't say I had a hard time. We did have one scene in particular that just... My family was on set that day. I was really excited, and it was just we couldn't keep it together because he was so funny. And Nathan came out. He said, and I said, "I'm so sorry." And he goes, "I'm laughing. I can't stop laughing. It's fine that you're laughing." But no, we had such a blast. He's such a great guy, and I like to say that his heart size is as big as his hands. You know, he's a famous with those giant hands. We were shooting this scene that was supposed to look like Mexico, and so we were down in Pueblo, Colorado, out in the streets, you know, and we kind of kicked a homeless guy out of his home, basically, you know, walking through this alley. You know, we're trying to shoot in an alley.
Oh wow!
And Leland went over and gave him some money and just ministered to him. And I just, like, that was something that Nathan had told me when we first had our first pre-production meeting. He said, I do things a little differently. I shoot films almost like a mission trip. And the people that you come in contact with while you're shooting are just as important as the people who will see your film. Yes. And the heart and the way that they know we're a Christian production company at the location that we've rented out. They know, you know, we're shooting this film and we call ourselves Christians. And so I think that is really, he was really true to who he said he was when he told me that. And then I saw that play out on set every day. And so it was just such a great environment to be with all these people and having ministry opportunities every day to people on the crew, people in the locations, actors. It was just great. It was a great experience. So.
I'm a huge fan of Nathan because I really believe he's got the right heart for what he's doing. So I've always had great admiration for him. And Leland, he did let me know on the interview that he actually cries a lot. But I told him that, you know, the thing is that even when he cries, he's making me laugh. That is how funny he is.
He actually cries a lot. Oh,
yeah.
Leland.
Oh, my goodness. Well, there's people want to get a hold of you. What's the best way to do that?
Well, GigiOrsillo.com is my website. I'm Gigi Orsillo on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, I'm just Gigi Orsillo across the board. Just come
That's
find
pretty
me.
easy. That's pretty easy. I want people to connect with you. That's what this program is all about is, hear about what you're doing, but more than anything to connect with you personally so that they will either, just write you and let you know they're praying for you and then actually pray for you, of course, and hear about whatever else you've got coming up. And that way, if they connect with you versus just something specific that you did, they will connect with everything you do. And that's what that's what I hope for with all our viewers. All righty. Well,
yes, thank you so much.
You bet. Gigi, thank you so much. I can't wait to see the movie. And folks, remember, oh, by the way, what's do you know the URL for the movie so they can follow that as well?
I think it's just Sleeper Agent Movie on Facebook.
Sleeper Agent Movie, yes.
They can probably find the website from there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Gigi.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac.
Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Encourage TV. Family-friendly and faith-friendly content absolutely free. Subscribe today and watch hundreds of hours of content on our streaming channels. Visit encouragetv.com today.
Where, madam, do you get your facts?
Tis in your journal, sir. Tis all in your journal.
Some would have you to believe today that all of this is the work of chance and not that of divine providence.
Good morning, Major Washington. His Lordship said that you are to insist that the governor send you with a letter addressing Mr. Christopher Gist.
They butchered him in front of his wife and children so that no provincial nor Indian not loyal to the French would dare venture to go where you and the governor would have us go.
Many in the House believe your trip to the French Commandant to be theatrics, to induce public sentiment both here and abroad for war.
How, George, do you respond to this indictment, as some would say, to be unreasonable reasoning in the age of reason, sir?
Be aware the consequence if the boy dies in the wilderness.
He led us into Ottawa territory. That Indian will find his brothers, and they will hunt us down.
You eat, and you think like a boy.
What is your name, madam?
To you, my dear boy, I am simply Sally.
Say your goodbyes, Major.
Today, Mr. Gist, we are not only emissaries of the crown, but ambassadors of the divine. We shall cross, and without delay.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. We've come to the end of yet another episode. Hope you enjoyed my conversation today with Gigi Orsillo. Check out her website. Find out all that she's doing in Christian film. Also want to invite you to write me. Would love to hear from you. Just write me at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. And of course, you can always follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. Also want to remind you to check out Parables TV, a place where you can watch some great Christian movies, documentaries, reality shows, all kinds of great content for you and your entire family. Simply go to parables.tv. That's parables.tv. So remember, if you want to keep your soul healthy, you've got to feed it some good, healthy entertainment. Till next week, take care.